The inflation rate is coming in below expectation, Bitcoin dominance keeps tumbling, and also Cronos is right at a very important level. And we have even more bullish indicators. So guys, I would say let's strap in and let's find out. This video is sponsored by Interlude, the RPG protocol on Cronos. In our last weekly close livestream on Sunday, we discussed this Bitcoin chart here, because in the short term, it was creating this ascending broadening wedge, which typically is a very bearish pattern. So as predicted, on Monday, it started its collapse here, but not before reaching our target of 106k for Bitcoin. And if you've been following along with the channel, you must know that 106k has been a long-term target already, because if you start to zoom out, you can see another pattern emerging here, which is a falling wedge pattern. And that one is actually a bullish one. And we created the target based here on the breakout point, perfectly bringing us to that 106k level. So with that target reached now, we can look forward and set new goals for Bitcoin as well. And based on the most recent news, I would say that the environment for Bitcoin gets more and more bullish. So what's the actual news? Well, annual inflation rate hits 2.3% in April, which is less than expected, and also the lowest since 2021. So really the COVID era. And with this news, guys, the chance to get a rate cut by the Fed in June gets higher and higher. And the lower the interest rates, the more liquidity that can enter the market, and therefore we can get more demand for Bitcoin, but also for altcoins. And I think that, guys, is actually the most interesting news. So let's quickly take a look here at what's happening with Bitcoin dominance. Because if you take a look at Bitcoin dominance, we started a new trend, it seems. We started a new trend, at least for the last few days. Because after reaching this high at about 65% for Bitcoin dominance, now we continue to go down. And there are a few green days like this, but I would say in the overall picture, we're really going down. And typically, guys, the trend is your friend. So as long as this is keeping up going down, I am very much looking forward to this flow from Bitcoin into altcoins, like, for example, Ethereum. And Ethereum, I think, is one of the best examples of how quickly things can change for altcoins. So what we can see here for Ethereum is that after reaching the previous all-time high of 2017, don't get me wrong here, the 2017 all-time high, we're actually trying to get back above this trend line here for Ethereum. And that might be quite a bit of struggle, as we've seen more resistance and support at those levels as well. So guys, it might take some time, but I think, like we mentioned before, the trend is your friend, and the trend for Bitcoin dominance is to the downside. With that in mind, though, I also want to show you a less bullish scenario for Bitcoin, because as always, it's about probabilities, and this might also be a possibility for Bitcoin. So what we see here is the weekly chart for Bitcoin, and we're now trading above the blue line, which is a 21-week simple moving average. But because we've been trading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in the green now, there's a case to be made that we might go back to this line to have a quick retest here. So that might mean that we're going down to about 92, 93k for Bitcoin. But then if we start to recover, we might actually create a shoulder. And because here we also have a shoulder, and here we have a head. So this, guys, could be an inverse head and shoulder pattern. And that's actually a quite bullish setup for the longer term, because we can again set a nice new target here for Bitcoin. From the neckline to the head here, you can see we might go up from the breakout point to about 130k. So if it's going to play out, guys, in the short term, we might see some pain. And also that might be true here for Bitcoin dominance, because if Bitcoin bleeds, then altcoins might bleed even harder. But in the long term, this might be a very bullish setup for Bitcoin to go towards 130k. I will continue to monitor the setup here for Bitcoin. So guys, don't forget to really strap in by subscribing and hitting the like button so you can follow it along as well. Anyways, how about CRO? Because CRO is also approaching a very key simple moving average here. Well, let's explore that after a quick word of today's sponsor. Today's sponsor, Interlude, is a true treasure hunt game directly on the Cronos chain. And when I mean treasure, I really mean treasure, because you can earn CRO tokens by simply playing this game. And even better, Interlude just added a few more worlds to their game, so you can explore new environments, but also earn more tokens there. For example, 5,000 CRO is up for grabs right now, but also the road in token. Check out the game in the link in the description down below. Let's go back though to CRO, because CRO is at a very important crossroad with this 21-week simple moving average. And we already talked about that with the Bitcoin chart here, but Bitcoin is typically leading the chart and Cronos is lagging behind. But that gives me confidence that we'll actually cross this line sooner rather than later. And I think that's super bullish if you take a look, for example, at what happened the last time. So here, we crossed it, big candle upwards. Also, I think this is a better example. Here as well, we crossed it and a big move to the upside. And also, very important here, we bounced perfectly at the 21 week. So typically, guys, the 21 week is a big support or resistance. So there's also a chance that we get rejected here, but I think the odds are definitely in our favor this time around. And why do I say that? Well, I think because of this, guys. You might have seen this already in the thumbnail, but the MACD is for the first time in 2025 showing a green dot here, a green little candle, showcasing that finally we crossed this line here. So this is a very bullish cross for the MACD, and therefore on the weekly, I also expect that we can actually surpass this line in, I don't know, days, weeks. The time currently is ticking, guys, so do make sure you are absolutely strapped in. Moreover, for CRO Bitcoin, we're currently trading in some kind of channel here, and we're going up and down, up and down. And the real question, of course, is whenever are we going to escape from this pattern, either to the upside or to the downside? And therefore, I think you have to look again at Bitcoin dominance. So Bitcoin dominance is currently trending to the downside, and therefore I do believe that the most likely outcome is that CRO Bitcoin will escape to the upside. The when question is a bit harder though, and I think the most leading indicator for that will be Ethereum. So when Ethereum makes a big move again, so currently it's somewhat stuck here, even though it's still going up. Whenever Ethereum is going to make a big move, also then I do expect CRO Bitcoin to move to that upside. All in all, the future is looking bright and most indicators are pointing towards the upside as well. But watch out potentially for a retest of the 21 week for Bitcoin, because if that's the case, also altcoins like Ethereum and also CRO will go down quite quickly, and then we will see a new rebound as well for the Bitcoin valuation for CRO and also for Bitcoin dominance. So yeah, the waiting game is real, but guys, the clock is ticking and it's going quicker than you might imagine. But I guess you might be bored, and if you're really bored, don't forget to check out this video, this interview with Alex, the co-founder of WolfSwap.